Hello everyone and welcome back to an episode within our Zoom chat series. I'm joined today with Paul Gilmore, who plays Robert in Avernus, and we're going to have a bit of a chat. So firstly, after a game of golf at Hindhead Golf Club, David told you that he had this idea for a short film. What were your initial thoughts when he said that?
Well, I was intrigued. To begin with, I thought it was a good idea, and it's one of those things when you've got writers or actors and they've got ideas and they'll talk to you about them, or they'll sound you out about them, and some of them just kind of pass you by, others sit with you and stay with you, and this was one of those. So, as you say, we'd had this game of golf, and it is set in a golf club. And he mooted this, He mooted this idea to me, and it just stuck. On the way home, when I was driving back, I started to mull it over and think, how could it work? Could it work? And if it was to work, how would it work? And what genre would it be? Would it be a thriller? Would it be a comedy? Would it be a dark comedy? And what kind of journey would the lead character go on, because it's obviously based very much on one principal character, and sort of what journey would he go on. But it got me thinking. I like any sort of production where you as a viewer are going to be having to work something out. You're going to have to think about something, what's going to happen next, or what's happening here. And I thought that Avernus, or the idea as it was then, would have that.
So when this was all happening and you were thinking about this, did you know that you were actually going to be playing Robert in Avernus? Or to you, was it just kind of an idea that you weren't going to be acting in as of yet?
No, I certainly wasn't thinking that I was going to be in it. I was kind of, at that time, was just, David, a couple of scripts that I've worked on and that I've written, I've shown to David, and he's very kindly given me some feedback on his, and therefore I was doing the same with him. So I was kind of just, as a friend, just feeding back and what I felt worked and what perhaps could be done differently. I hadn't thought of it as in any way being involved with it as an actor. I think that obviously came that came a little bit later. I got these cryptic messages off David, these sort of text messages coming in asking about my CV. And I was obviously looking at Spotlight, and Spotlight is where actors put their CVs and their show reels. So he was obviously exploring and perhaps sharing that with somebody else. So I knew that something might be going on, that he called and said that, I'd like you to play Robert. And I said, great, I'd love to be involved.
Yeah, of course. So for you, was this a new encounter working on a short film? Or was this something you've already done in the past?
Yeah, I've worked on short films, a handful or so, and you never quite know what to expect. It's always sort of expect the unexpected, and it all comes down, I think, with short films to production values, and what are those going to be like, and you never quite know whether you're going to turn up and it's going to be a one-man film crew, who's also the writer, the director, the producer, and a couple of actors, or if it's going to be like walking onto a TV set. And I was very pleasantly surprised when I turned up at Richmond Golf Club and I saw that we were walking onto a TV set. I mean, I knew that obviously, the production was going to have high values because of the people involved. Simon Ross, the director, I'd seen Dead Cool, which I thought was a terrific film. In fact, I'd worked, funny enough, when I watched it, I realized I'd worked with the lead actor in that, Rob Whitcomb.
Really?
Yeah, great actor. And I loved that. I loved the way it was shot. I loved the way the story was told, the way you're kind of hanging on as a member of the audience. So I knew, with Simon involved, that production values would be high. And also David had spoken to me before about the co-producer, Stephen Cranny.
Yeah.
And he said that he was involved. So again, I knew that it was going to be, good.
A great team. Great team. It had good things set out for it, and it's obviously, living up to that at the moment.
Yeah, it did, and a great cast. You
Yeah.
know, Jamie, Kerry, David, all wonderful actors. So it was great to have an opportunity to work with them.
So I'm aware that you've also written your own play, which is called The Landlady. Can you tell us
Hmm.
a little bit about that?
Yep. Actually, it's a working title. The Landlady was a working title, and it's sort of emerged now as Breakfast in Brighton. Um,
Okay, I like that.
yeah,
Breakfast in Brighton.
yeah,
It's got a ring to it.
got a ring to it. Good. So it's a dark comedy. How can I describe it? It's set in a B&B in Brighton. There's a landlady involved, and then three guys turn up to carry out an unusual task, only to find out, who as members of the audience, that the task isn't what they expected it was going to be.
So I know alongside obviously the play that you've written, you've also worked extensively within theatre acting wise, so on like the West End and repertory theatres. But most notably, you played Dr. Jake Houseman's baby father in the original West End production of Dirty Dancing. How was that? That sounds amazing.
It was great fun, actually. Yeah. I mean, I think I was in it was in its fifth year. This was at the Aldwych Theatre, the fourth or the fifth year.
Okay.
And so I was involved with that for a year, perhaps longer, 12 months, 15 months it might have been. But it was something that was very left field. I'd never been involved in a sort of a musical, although it's classed more as a show, a sort of a
Mhm.
West End show than a musical. And in the first couple of weeks, I just thought, I'm not sure if this is going to be for me. You know, all these warm ups with all these dancers, and suddenly something clicks, and you get into it.
Mm.
And it opened my eyes to another art form, which is dance. I hadn't had a great deal of experience of that before. Not that I had to do any of that. I was just doing a little bit of dad dancing.
Dad
Uh,
dancing in the background.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. One foot behind another. Try not to trip up. It was mainly an acting role, but it was a great experience.
As well, at the moment, obviously coronavirus happened, and you were saying where you left off with your play that you've written, but
Mm.
what's been happening recently for you then during this lockdown?
Well, not a great deal as far as on the acting side of things. It's mainly sort of just trying to keep myself busy and occupied. And I borrowed a scaffold tower off a friend of mine
Right.
to have a go at painting the house. It was one of those things where there was a window at the back of the house, the kitchen window, and my wife said, "Is there anything you could do about that?" And I thought, okay, well, I can touch that up. And of course, you do one, and then there's a glance to the one at the side, and what about that one? And anyway, so
Yeah,
it
the list builds.
exactly, it multiplied. So I'm spending my days, with the help of my son, I have to add, up a scaffold tower, getting covered in paint, but it's keeping me occupied, and that, with a little bit of writing, is sort of helping.
So that is great. Thank you so much for speaking to me today. Um,
Pleasure.
Thank you. If you haven't already, please go follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our trailer's also now up on YouTube as well. So if you haven't checked that out, the links are on all our social medias and will be underneath this video as well. So thank you very much for watching, everyone.